I have just one thing to say to you. This is all that ever needs to be said, okay? Hiya! Hello everyone, my name is STARFOX, and guys, welcome back to a video series I have not done in months. Literally, it's been over half a year. Yikes. Oof. My bad. Hello everyone, I'm STARFOX, and guys, welcome to Straight Talk. If you don't know what Straight Talk is, it's a time where it's about 10 minutes or so about anything I want. It's completely random and completely unscripted. And by the fact I have Fox ears on my head, and the fact that you saw the logo probably already appear, guys, we are back with STARFOX month. Guys, welcome to STARFOX month. And I have a topic I'd like to talk about. Future Brian, can you put that up on screen? You see that? You know what that is? That's what we call trash. Guys, it's no secret that STARFOX Command is like my absolute least favorite STARFOX game like ever. As in, like, I hate that game. So I wanted to take a minute because I found some really cool, the beta title called STARFOX DS. So I wanted to use this video as more of a, what would I have done different with STARFOX DS? What should have been done with STARFOX DS, if you will? And I want to take this minute to talk about STARFOX Command, what it did, what it has, and what it should have done differently. If you don't know, here's a little bit of background context. STARFOX Command was kind of the game that killed Star Fox, to be 100% honest with you. STARFOX Command came out to decent reviews, but over time has pretty much been tarnished. Not only did it effectively destroy what was a great set of games with a horribly made conclusion, but it did so the most convoluted way possible. So the way STARFOX Command played effectively was like, it was trying to rip from Star Fox 2 and utilize what that game did. It was a strategy-based Star Fox game. First thing is, STARFOX Command has several different aspects to it. It's a strategy-based game. It uses turn-based strategy as a form of gameplay. It divides the combat into... it divides the gameplay into two separate sections. You've got a map that you have to move around in and go to certain bases, and then you have the playable segments where you fight the enemies you encounter. And finally, it's huge story, and the main villain being the Anglers, which are apparently some fucking fish in a fish tank that Andros had, that all of a sudden go evil and take over Venom. That's a thing. And with that being said, the very first thing I would change with this whole game, I would cut the Anglers, like, completely. I would delete them from existence. The Anglers served nothing but to be what Andros and his entire cronies already were. So I would cut the Anglers, first off. Second off, the strategy-based gameplay. I would cut that too, to be 100% honest with you. Mainly because of this. STARFOX 2 already did that. STARFOX 2 was the first strategy-based Star Fox game. STARFOX Command tried to use what STARFOX 2 already did, but did it worse. So STARFOX 2 already landed the whole strategy-based Star Fox game. It already did it. So there's no point in trying to do it again, especially the way Command did it. So I would cut that and turn the game back into a normal Star Fox game. And you can't tell me that it can't be done, because I have a few examples here of why it can be done. First off, Mario 64. The entire game was changed, updated, and added to with new characters and moved to the DS, known as Super Mario 64 DS, Super Mario DS, however you want to call it. Metroid Prime got condensed down, but they made Metroid Prime Hunters. Not the best game in the world, but they fit a Prime-style game with multiple planets and things to explore onto the DS. But what we got in STARFOX Command was a far more watered-down version with very bare-bones levels. So instead, I would turn it into another on-rail Star Fox game, akin to Star Fox 64, but updated. What I would do, effectively, is this. Star Fox 64 was kind of the start of the timeline. And if we still kept up with the whole idea that Command was meant to end the timeline, then I would bring it kind of around the whole way. You know what I mean? So, like, I would, you had Star Fox 64, which set the standard. It set the franchise moving. Then it moved to Star Fox Adventures, where they went to the outer reaches of the Lylat system and explored Dinosaur Planet. Then Star Fox Assault kind of started to end things off, new threat, took out the rest of Andross's forces. I would turn Star Fox DS into revisiting these old worlds, but farther in the future now. Because, for example, we visit Fortuna and Titania a little, we revisit Titania in Assault via a multiplayer map, but we don't really get to explore all of the planet, you know what I mean? So going back to all those worlds again, but further in the future, where things have changed and altered, would be a really nice touch. For Star Fox DS's story, I would utilize the story kind of build-up and setup of Assault, where the story is built up over time between the banter and the conferences in between missions. I would use the level system and the gameplay of Star Fox 64 / Star Fox Assault's gameplay, where it's on rails, and depending on the mission, you would switch to different ships. Like, you have your Landmaster, your R-Wing, your Blue Marine, and maybe add a new one here and there. Hell, maybe even bring back the Walker in Star Fox DS for its first ever appearance, since that was a Star Fox 2 thing that we never see in this timeline. Make it to where we revisit old planets farther in the future, as well as new planets akin to what Star Fox Zero did with the Beta Quadrant and a few other of the Cornerian bases. Then the idea comes to, what would the main villain be? Who would the main villain be? We've already done the Aperoids, a mass infective force that infects both technology and creatures. We've already done the whole Andross shtick, which is kind of boring. So the villain I would do, honestly, is AI-based, actually. See, we've encountered the super weapon, which was in Star Fox 64, a weapon that was being built by Andross to kind of mimic him in a few ways. This weapon was meant to be utterly devastating, but we never got to see it flourish out. For the newest villain, I would actually revisit this AI. It'd be really cool if the AI, survived somehow after that fight. Maybe its main module for its brain somehow survived, and it sought after to finalize maybe Andross's directive. Or, heck, here's a cool idea. Let's just say Andross pulled a Darth Sidious, from Star Wars, and Andross had a Hail Mary plan, a final act, as it were. If Andross were ever to die, or his forces were ever to fail, this would be the end-all, be-all plan. It would made to wipe out the entire Lylat system. If Andross can't rule it, then it won't exist. So this threat would not be, the Lylat system being taken over, it would be the Lylat system being destroyed. So this would effectively create a solar system wiping out event, which would be super intense. And this AI that we could revisit from the super weapon from Star Fox 64 could be the main driving force for that. And with that, as far as how I would start the story, where would the Star Fox team be, which is kind of another big thing. I would do this. I would keep General Pepper retiring and General Peppy becoming a thing. Have General Peppy become the new general of the Cornerian Army. But because of his connection with Star Fox, he would give Star Fox new tech, and Star Fox would have a new line of upgrades. So the Great Fox would be rebuilt as the Great Fox Mark II, which would be far larger, far better, far faster. All the R-Wings would be upgraded to an R-Wing Mark II, keeping, or having a brand new R-Wing design, which I've already seen a guy do so, which I would now display on screen. With this, of course, the Star Wolf team would still be in existence, but however, because they were a part of the Fox team helping them in Star Fox Assault, they would join them once again in Star Fox DS to take out this new threat. Of course, we would face them on a rival fight, which, if you don't mind putting on screen, thank you, feature editor Brian. And of course, as far as the Fox team goes, I would keep Fox McCloud, Falco, Slippy, Crystal, and Rob all together, with adding 2 new characters. If we're going to pull from Star Fox 2, utilizing the R-Wing's ability to now turn into the Walker, I would also allow them to have new members. Probably bring back Faye and Miyu in this new story. And with the story kind of covered, now it comes to gameplay. As far as, yes, we're revisiting old planets, mission-to-mission segments where, you choose the paths you go, with new missions in there, with the ability, kind of bringing this from an old Straight Talk I did, having side missions you could take on that would appear at random, that you would go on and maybe fight to get some extra upgrades or extra points. So it would kind of be along the lines of Star Fox Zero's mission progression, but with cool side missions that would be, randomly appearing to kind of add some incentive to keep coming back. Of course, there will be multiple R-Wings depending on the character you choose. And as far as the way the game it would play physically, in-game when you're flying mission to mission, I would do practically the identical control scheme found in Star Fox 64 3D. Q Games made that remake, and that is when they landed Star Fox R-Wing controls. I would literally translate that to Star Fox DS. The only change would be the D-pad would be the main use of controls instead of a circle pad. And that would be very akin to how Star Fox used to be back on the SNES with Star Fox 1. And as far as, how would they do the somersault? Well, it wouldn't be any different than how you do it any other way. Pressing down the D-pad and the boost would activate a somersault. Pressing up on the D-pad would, activate a U-turn, stuff like that. It would just be that instead of the ship moving in all directions, full 360, it would only move left, right, up, and down like the SNES. And, you can't say that, if you did that, then how would you do all range mode? It wouldn't work then. It would, because all range mode was actually first introduced in Star Fox 2 with the same control scheme. So, there you go. And yeah, that's kind of it. It's very bare bones of what I'm saying of the changes that should be made, but the changes would make this game far better, in my opinion, than Star Fox Command, and would make it more of a Star Fox game. So, to rope it all off, because I know I've been rambling a lot, thing number one, ditch the story, ditch the anglers, completely rewrite it. Main villain, the AI from Star Fox 64 that uses a final protocol that Andros had as like a final thing to kill off the entire Lilat system to create this really massive threat to where the Fox team has to go out, take out these fleets, save, protect planets while making their way to this super weapon that the AI is now has control of, that is about to utilize it against the system. The Fox team itself, General Peppy, would be in command of the Cornerian Army, which would give support to Star Fox to create the Great Fox Mark II, with brand new R-Wings that would have the new ability to transform into their walker forms, as found in Star Fox 2 and Star Fox Zero. The team would stay relatively the same, with two new members being Miyu and Faye joining the ranks, which would be obviously pulled from Star Fox 2. The main way the game would play is mission-to-mission based, with an entire map laid out very similar to Star Fox Zero, however with added-in missions that would randomly appear, where a base might be in trouble and you have to go help them, maybe take out a particular enemy, maybe a secret weapon has been released, you have to go fight off for a bit, stuff like that. This would be kind of a rounding off story. It could be utilized or seen as the final conclusion, but left open in a way to where the franchise didn't entirely have to end and the timeline could continue. As far as the main controls and the main gameplay goes, effectively, Star Fox 64 3D / Star Fox 2's controls would be translated to the DS, with the touch screen only being utilized for communication and the viewing of the map, nothing else. And as far as anything little goes, there would be alternative ships. The Landmaster would return, the R-Wing, the Walker, the Blue Marine, all would come back as they revisit older planets now farther in the future. And that's kind of it. That is literally all the changes I would make to make Star Fox DS become, viable and actually fun, in my opinion. It would take out all that soap opera bullshit. It would take out the really poorly done strategy that Star Fox Command tried to do. It could keep a few surprises that Star Fox Command did have. For example, James could make an appearance, and hell, maybe he could be playable. Maybe he could be extra bonus content, bringing back that OG R-Wing. Which I did think that was cool in Star Fox Command. I wouldn't mind seeing him in Star Fox DS. I know I've been talking for a while, but I wanted to talk about my idea, my concept of what I would do for Star Fox DS, what should have been done for Star Fox DS, and now we've reached the end of this video. Oh, but before I go, Future Editor Brian, I want you to create a box art concept of what this game should look like. So whatever you come up with, put it up on screen and give it a title name for the hell of it. Boom! Thank you. I'm sure it's going to look dope as hell in post. Anyway, that's all I got for today. So, guys, enjoy yourself. Leave a like, subscribe, comments. I'll see you on the next one. Joseph signing out. Later.